Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Tackle Shop Live.
Sunny day, right there you took my breath away. Young and pretty, wasn't just a dream. The next day you called
What
me
up, Patrick Kingree? How you doing, buddy?
You came over and
Scott Shope, what's happening, buddy?
Well, I know
Lane
what
Graves
I
is here.
feel.
Jim Saban.
Please tell me your love is
What's
real.
happening, buddy?
You make me smile when
LP
I think
Bass.
of you. If I get down,
Robert
know that
Murray.
you're blue.
Tim H. And we got a great pile of people here. Anthony Torchy, how are you, buddy? Happy Thursday. Right on, man. Jay Sandberg. Fish on, baby. I hope so. I love setting a steal on some of them bad boys out there. Robert Mills is here. Mike Hayer, as always, pal.
I'm going crazy from just the thought of you. A long blonde
Yeah,
hair,
baby.
your beautiful smile.
Mark, Lisa Lake, how are you, bud?
Makes it all worthwhile. Don't make me wait.
Jeff Santangelo. The man, the myth, the legend. I'm telling you there, brother.
Please tell me your love is real.
Shane McNaughton, how are you, buddy? Thanks for the order, pal. I got it out to you today, man. Thanks so much. Appreciate you, pal. Lisa Lake, what's going on SFT? You better believe it. Michael Bradley, Joseph Cascarino, man, I'm telling you, we got the OGs in the house today. Let me tell you, Gio Miller, OG, Grimy Fishing, OG. Oh my God, that's great. Kirk Blackador, how are you, man? Alvin Valentine, how are you, pal? Absolutely. Robert Bretz. That's a great crew of people. David Schottemeyer, Alvin. Whoa. Hey, good day, guys. Absolutely, pal. Good day to you. Craig Anderson, Ed Ranowski, Mike Barr. Hey, good to see you today, Mike. You look great, buddy. I am glad you're doing well, and we're going to get you fishing very soon, buddy. I guarantee you. Man, what a great crew of people coming in. Matthew Weimer. Yo, Matthew. Good to see you, pal. He's an OG from way back, and I love seeing you coming in, buddy. Wow. What a crew of guys, Nick. I'm telling you, we're so lucky to have these people stopping in. Tackle Shop Live every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. We talk fishing. We talk tackle. We talk it all, man. We love it. We love it. We love it. And, man, Nick, we're working hard on our kayak tournament trip, fishing tournament coming up here, Nick. The Susquehanna River Classic 2025 Susquehanna River Classic kayak event.
That's exciting.
I'm telling you, it's exciting. I am so jacked up over this. It's unbelievable. We have some of the greatest fishermen signing up for this thing right now. And another thing that we're doing, Nick, is we're bringing a bunch of new people into this sport.
That's what it's all about.
And there is a lot of guys that are signing up who never fished a tournament before. They're trying to figure it out, as George and I are, trying to figure this kayak thing out, man. It's great to see the new blood coming in. And this is a tournament for everyone. And that is exactly what it's about. It's about getting new blood into this. And the way we do that is by offering something for your entry fee. And this year we are partnered up with 13 Fishing, which is an unbelievable sponsorship. As you know, Nick, Rapala bought 13 Fishing out. I don't know, was it last year, George?
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, last year they bought them out, and they are focusing big time on 13 Fishing, and they're going to make a big push with their products, and they're going to do it the Rapala way. They're going to make them quality. They're going to make them consistent. They're going to make them awesome.
Well, I know when George and I were down at ICAST, we were looking at some of their products, and it was hard to imagine that the price points of some of them.
Yeah, I know that.
Holy smokes.
Well, Nick, you're going to get an Oath fishing rod for your entry fee. It's a $100 rod that feels like a $199 rod. The thing is unbelievable. You're going to get that for your entry fee, $150 entry fee. You get a $100 rod for the entry fee, and it is an exceptional value. And what that does is it allows guys to come into the sport. It allows guys to get something for your money. You're a winner before you even start, and you can come and see what the world of kayak tournament fishing is all about. And we are going to put it on. We have the greatest tournament guys helping us out with this event. It's going to be a quality event, and we're paying out over $18,000 in cash. And it is an unbelievable payout. First place is going to be 10 grand, Nick.
That's crazy.
That's nuts.
I know when George, like I said, when George and I were at ICAST, we were talking to some heavy hitters in the kayak series events. And when George said, hey, we got a tournament that's going to be paying out 10 grand for first place, even the most prestige kayak anglers were like, what?
Yeah, snapping their head.
That.
You watching tonight, Fluke Master?
That's right.
Because I got my eyes on you. You need to be here.
Now that's the thing. We're bringing this. We're bringing it full speed. We're bringing it full throttle, like we always do here at SFT Tackle and at Susquehanna Fish and Tackle. We just want to have a great event for you guys so that you can have fun, you can enjoy the sport, and you can get something for it. And it's just a great, going to be a great event. And we need you guys to sign up, get in line so we can set everything all up. Don't wait till the last minute because we don't want to leave you out. We want to make sure that you're getting, you're going to get in and you're going to be able to fish. So don't sandbag and wait till the last minute and check on the weather. Just get signed up. The weather date is the next weekend. So even if we can't work it for that weekend, if there's a weather problem or whatever, we're going to move it to the next weekend. So it's already set up. You're going to get something. We're going to fish this tournament no matter what. So
I got to ask you and George a question here, because I have never fished a kayak tournament, and I'm not here to get into rules or anything like that. But I got to ask you, one of the coolest parts about tournament fishing with what we're used to is, you have blast off, everybody's doing their thing. How does it work in kayak fishing?
Yeah, it's really cool. The way the kayak world works is you can launch at various places up and down the section of river that we have quarantined off. The highest launch is up at Liverpool and the lowest launch is down here in Columbia. And you can launch any of those places, but you can go up from there as far as you want. So Liverpool is the top point. That doesn't stop you from going up as far as you can. You can paddle up as far as you go. You can trolling motors are allowed, so you can trolling motor up as far as you want to go, and you can just fish your way all over. So the blast off is a lot different than what we're used to, Nick. But what we want to do is we want to have a great weigh-in.
Yeah.
We want to have a epic weigh-in. We want everybody to come back to the shop. We're going to shut off the weigh-in 2 hours before the end so nobody knows
really
what's going on.
That's nice.
So come back, catch your fish those last 2 hours. You know how it is. Those last minute fish change the results all the time. So we want you to come back. We're going to have an epic weigh-in here at the shop, like we do, Nick. You know how we do weigh-ins. Yeah. We do weigh-ins right, and we're going to have an epic weigh-in back here at the shop. Have a great time. A lot of camaraderie goes on at that time. You can hang out with your buddies. You can ask questions to people who caught them or whatever. You can just talk fishing. And we're going to have an epic weigh-in here, and it's going to be a great time, and it's going to be different than a lot of the events that you guys ever did. So that's what we do here.
Mike, you were talking about, anything can happen up to the last minute, and I couldn't help but think of George right away because he was in an event that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And in the last, minute, an angler won that event and had to get the heck out of there. Yeah. You remember that one, George?
I sure do.
Pretty cool stuff.
It wasn't me.
That's all right. That doesn't matter. You were there.
Yeah. Last minute, man. You never know what's going to happen in the last 2 hours of fishing. A guy could land on a pile of fish and take the leaderboard and trash it. So we want the excitement here at the shop. We want the excitement here at our weigh-in, and we want to be able to crown the king of the tournament here, and everybody's going to be excited to see who it is. And it's going to be a great time. So sign up right now. Don't screw around. Get on board. Sign up for this event. It is going to be an epic tournament like we always do. Nick, I got to ask you something.
Yeah.
This is the time of the year right now where you hear the word grinding.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the summertime grind. And guys hear it. People say this all the time. You know, they hear it on TV. Man, it was a grind out there today. We were grinding it. I want to know what the hell grind means to you.
All right. So I'm glad you asked that question because I thought of something right away. We did something 2 weeks ago that showed the grind. We went live on the Upper Chesapeake with GDP.
Exactly.
And if you watched that event, sure, there was flurries of, it looked easy. Everything looked like, wow. But it was a grind. And let me tell you, I didn't pan the camera around to other boats because I didn't know what the rules were to do that. I've never seen, I don't know if you're allowed to do that. So I didn't do that much, or you would have saw some.
Well, we're learning, Nick.
We're learning, right? But as I'm watching these other anglers and they're within casting distance in this, they were all grinding.
Yeah.
And so when you say the grind, I mean, we're in that zone. The grind to me is from the time you start, whether you're in a tournament or whether you're just fun fishing.
Right.
You're going to be grinding for every bite you can get. And you're going to be going through all your different baits and techniques that you're confident in to get those bites.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're hoping to have a decent day.
Yep.
But it's not going to be what it was in the spring. And it's not what it's going to be in the fall.
Right.
It's a grind.
It's a grind.
Yeah.
And the summertime that we're in right now, this is August, and this is the grind. This is when the dog days of summer kick in, and you have to grind for every single bite. The fish are weird. They're waiting for certain bait to come by. They're waiting for a current to start up. They're waiting for something that triggers that bite, that triggers that instinct to go and start to feed. And the grind to me is staying focused the entire time, that when that little window of opportunity opens up, you're there and you're available, and you aren't kind of like washed back and saying, well, this is one of them days. You know, you are focused the entire time. You're making correct decisions. The right baits are tied on, and you're making the right cast towards those fish. And when they do decide to flurry, which might only be a 10-minute flurry 3 times a day.
It can happen.
Yeah. You get those little 10-minute flurries 3 times a day. You're at the right spot. You're at the right place, and you're throwing the right bait. And to me, the grind is the best part of fishing.
Absolutely.
It's the best part of fishing because it's really testing your skills. It's testing your knowledge, the knowledge that you learn off of Tackle Shop Live every week, that we try to share as much knowledge as we have and what we've learned over the years. And you can take that knowledge and you can apply it so that when that 10-minute window opens up, you are going to capitalize on it. And that's exactly what I think the grind is. What do you think, George?
Yeah. I mean,
dog days of summer.
It doesn't even have to be the dog days of summer. So what happens a lot in fishing, whether it's you're fishing with your buddy and it's, steel cage death match, or if you're fishing a club tournament, or if you paid up an entry fee for a bigger tournament, there's short windows of opportunity in a day. The rest of the day, you're trying to get a bonus fish, which means you're grinding. And grinding means keeping your positive mental attitude. It means thinking about every aspect of what you're doing, where you're at, and not being
lazy,
satisfied with just chucking and winding. I mean, it's so easy to just be like, yeah, I should probably rig up a dice bait and skip it in the shade pockets, but I'll just keep throwing this spinner bait. it's hot, and you're just kind of like, that's just going through the motions. So when you're grinding, you're like, you haven't had a bite in 2 hours, and you're constantly innovating, pushing the envelope, looking for bait. If it doesn't look right or feel right, then you're moving. You're not never satisfied. Now, if you're morning or midday or whenever your bite flurry was on your day, and you cracked a big sack of fish, or you had a great day, maybe when you get to that period, you're like, I'm just going to kind of poke around here and see what happens, because it doesn't matter. But if it does matter, you got to keep your head in the game. You got to always listen to your gut instinct. And even if it's just, your day off and you're fishing, never be satisfied, because you're always trying to learn that next nugget that you can apply later. So keep grinding.
One of the things I wanted to add to that, because I know you guys are very good at that, I need to work at it, is when it is the dog days, what's going to keep you mentally focused longer is staying hydrated.
Oh,
And I found that out very seriously over the last week and a half.
yeah.
You got to stay hydrated, because as some people kind of, they bow out mentally.
Yeah.
You're going to stay mentally focused.
Yeah.
And it's a big deal, because let's say you go to your first spot in the morning and you have this vision of bass jumping all over your top water. It's going to go down 3 hooks, 3 fish.
Yeah.
It's going down. And, 2 hours go by and you're still sitting there working top water. You didn't get the first bite.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are checked out at that point.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, now what? Now
Yeah.
the rest of the day is going to be that grind.
Yeah.
They're done.
Yeah.
They should have picked up 2 or 3 3-pounders right there, and it didn't happen.
Right.
And you got to stay mentally sharp.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that, Nick. We talked about this, I think it was last week, a little bit about hydration and what it does to your brain. When you get dehydrated, it kind of works from your head down. It takes away from your thought process, because your body is fighting other things because it's not properly hydrated. So there's things going on, and you just aren't as sharp as if you were properly hydrated. And I wrote an article years ago, I think back in 2014, and I think it's on our blog, on our website. You can scroll back through the blogs. We got some great blogs on our website. We got people that wrote some great articles over the years, on different aspects of fishing. But one I researched and I did was, and I used John Cruz's information a lot, because he did a whole analysis on it, a health analysis. He was very, very big in nutrition and health back in the day, and how important it is when you're fishing to be the proper nutrition and hydration. So that's a big thing. If you're in the grind and you're dehydrated, you're not watered up properly, you're not thinking right, you're not making those correct decisions. You're getting lazy, which happens to us all. We get lazy, we don't stop, we don't go retie on and react on that gut feeling that we had, because we're drawing it down. We're drawn down, our body's drawn down. So there's a lot of issues with that. So hydration is very important this time of year, and it'll help you with your decision making if you just do it right. And I think you guys can go back through there, and I think you'll find it in our blog. It's I think it's 2014 or 2015 when I wrote it. But I did research it because I was very interested in it at the time, because of John Cruz and him bringing it to light to a lot of anglers. And ever since then, you see the big gallon jugs floating around in the boats, and guys sucking on them big gallon jugs all day long, because they know how important it is right now to do that.
When you guys think of the dog days of summer, I heard this on the flats the other day with the water temperature being really high. What exactly in your guys' mind does that do to the fish this time of year? And how can people be more, better at catching fish in that type of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think the dog days of summer is the water temperature. The fish got to eat, and when their metabolism's up with the water temperature, they have to eat. They just got to eat. Now but they're not gonna um, go out of their way like they do have to do in the fall, because in the fall they have to feed. They just got to feed. They have to feed. They have to force themselves. They got to put a lot of weight on to get through the winter because they know what's coming. So they're feeding all the time. Whereas in the summer, they feed small portions of time, but they feed all the time, a lot of the time, but they do it all day long, all night long, and whenever the opportunity is there. So there may be a lot of periods of time where they don't eat because there's just no bait around, and they're not going to go after it. They're not going to chase it. They're not going to do whatever. They're just waiting for something to come by and trigger that feeding frenzy.
More opportunistic.
Yeah, they're very much more opportunistic, and that's what I always felt like. Even though the fish, you can see them nowadays, and they're just coming up to your bait, and they're not interested, and they're just swimming back off. At least they're there. When to keep checking it, and then just something's going to trigger something, and you just got to be there at the right time. So that rotation, when you hear people talk about, remember we talked about that before. What rotation means? Get in that right rotation and keep doing that rotation, and hopefully you're going to stumble on that feeding frenzy when they feed. Because I'm telling you, they got to eat. They got to eat this time of year because they're just burning so much energy and stuff, and it's hot and it's nasty and it's whatever, and that when that wad of bait comes over top of their heads, they're gonna take advantage of it. So they don't have to chase it too far, and they don't have to run after it, and they don't have to do much to it. It's all coming to them. That's what I think. That's my personal opinion. Got anything, George?
I think particularly for shallow fish, the dog days of summer, which is what we call this time of year, and the fishing tends to get tougher, particularly as you get into September. We always talk about how difficult September can be. I think in those circumstances, particularly if you're on reservoir systems and they're not generating a lot of water, I think your best bet always is to get aggressive and go shallow or shallower. Shallow can be in the middle of the lake on a bar that's got 8 feet of water on top of it. Shallow doesn't have to be 2 foot of water on a shoreline. It can be a gravel bar. It can be a shell bed. It can be
a shoal or
a shoal
like
with
that.
grass on it. But the part I want to emphasize the most is I feel like the worst thing you can do under those circumstances is to go with finesse. So, let's say you're fishing a reservoir, TVA system, any river that has a hydroelectric dam on it, forming a reservoir anywhere. If it's a dry period of time and the water has to be kind of like maximized during peak electrical demand times, you're going to have a lot of time in your day when they're not generating water, especially if it's the weekend. During the week, you get a little more consistent current. And in those reservoirs, no current, that's when it's time to grind. And I feel is that a finesse approach is the wrong approach. Drop shotting and wacky rigging and dragging a Ned rig or whatever the case may be. Shaky head, it is the wrong approach to get that random fish that you're triggering. So to me, it could be a flipping approach. but a heavier sinker to get a faster fall. And in essence, you're ripping that bait past that fish's head. So if you have, thick, you're punching hydrilla, you're punching milfoil, or even if it's clump grass, go a little heavier than necessary to get that fast drop. Now, obviously, if you're punching and you're using 1.5 ounces, that's heavy.
Yeah.
But if you're fishing, if your body of water has like clump grass, or if it's wood, and you're flipping and a 1/4 ounce works fine, go to 3/8. Make the bait fall faster. And in essence, you're getting a reaction bite. If there's any wind at all, the overlooked, underutilized spinnerbait is king. You should have a spinnerbait tied on the deck of your boat at all times. And if you get a little bit of wind, that's a prime time to get that reaction bite. Because I'll tell you right now, if there's a shallow water or shallower water fish that's just kind of minding his own business and you rip a spinnerbait past his head, you're getting bit. Or they might show themselves, and then you can flip your heavier, and get the reaction out of them with that flipping bait. But anyways, that to me is a great strategy for the dog days. Now, what's interesting is in certain parts of the country, these are not the dog days. These are the prime time days. And that is what we like to call the northern swing. Many, many people in a large chunk of America travel north in July and August and September to fish. Primarily interested in smallmouth, but fabulous largemouth fishing. So maybe I shouldn't say primarily, but quite a few people are interested in the smallmouth, but fabulous northern largemouth fishing also. And those fish are on a different calendar.
Yeah, they are.
Their season is shorter. They're in their peak feeding time right now. If there's a lot of those lakes have perch in them, a lot of those lakes have, different like smelt in them, different bait fish that are school bait fish. And those fish are just pulverizing them as we speak. So another great way to beat the dog days of summer is to pack up the family truckster and head north.
Right. Jared Bear, great question. Spinnerbait this time of year, with or without a trailer. It depends a lot, like on the spinnerbait you're throwing, but we like a small, compact profile right now because the bait's smaller. We want that little shorter body on there. So I really don't fish a lot of trailers this time of year. I rely on baits on blade size a lot right now, try to match the blade size to the bait fish. But try to keep it more compact, a little bit more compact. In the fall, lots of trailers, bulkier, bigger, bulkier. You got bigger bait around. You want that bulkier look. They're feeding up on heavier, bigger baits, and you want to kind of put a lot of trailers on. And then in the spring, when they're coming out of the winter bite and they're going up shallow, they're eating big bait. There's no small bait around. There's all big stuff. So trailers. But this time of year, a lot of small bait around. I don't like a lot of trailers. I kind of stay away from that, and I really mess with my blades to get the right blade configuration for what I'm fishing for. So, yeah, good question. Good question. All right. Well, I mean, grind is what I was always wondering about, and I think we covered the grind real good. And now you guys know when these guys come into the weigh-in stage and they're like all pissed off and everything's all bad, and they're like, "Oh man, what a grind out there!" Now you know what the grind is. I mean, the grind isn't pleasant. It's not a pleasant part of fishing, but I enjoy the grind. I enjoy the mental aspect of it. I enjoy the thinking, the thought process. And when I come off the water, I look back and I say, man, I could have done this better. I could have done that better. I did get lazy here. I did get lazy there, and I try to make myself better for the next time out, which is a week away. And I don't want to be that lazy person. I want to be able to react on my feelings, react on my gut, and make those correct decisions so that I can continue to grind hard.
You know what I always thought was pretty interesting? So anybody that comes into the scales and they win the tournament, I don't care if it's a club tournament, BFL, whatever. Most people think, wow, they really killed them today. They were on them. Little did they know, most of them guys that win that tournament, they really grinded for them 5 bites.
Oh, yeah.
It was like by the skin of their teeth, they got that fish in.
Yeah.
And if they wouldn't have got that bite, they couldn't have replaced that bite. Like
Right.
there was no replacing that 4-pounder
That's
or that 3-pounder.
Yeah.
But when you go in there, it's like, oh man, George killed it today. George is like, you have no idea.
Right.
That's a lot of times how it goes.
That's exactly how it goes this time of year. When somebody says, man, they really crushed them today. Well, crush them. Yeah, they caught the right fish, but they might have only caught 6 fish that whole day. But it was the right 6. That's really what it comes down to. But there's always that flurry. There's always that school of fish that fires up. And some of the tournaments that are 1-2 this time of year, or is the timing was perfect. You showed up at the right spot at the right time, and you put 17 pounds of fish in the boat all in 10 minutes. And then it was over. You didn't get bites before, you didn't get bites after, and that's why I always say to guys when they come in here and they're, oh man, you guys did good this weekend. I said, buddy, I'd rather be lucky than good any day of the week, because that's kind of where the luck comes in. You stumbled, you made your right decisions, you were on the right cycle, but you got on that right bite at the right perfect time, and those fish flurried for 10 minutes and it was over. You put 15 pounds. George and I did it many times, man. We went.
I don't put too much factor on the luck. I put the factor on, covering immense amount of water. The number one mistake that I think all of us make at the recreational and amateur tournament angler level is we fish way, way, way too slow. Way too slow. Like when you think you're fishing fast, you're fishing slow. If you are fishing and you're looking and you're covering and the bite's terrible and you're trying to find bait and you fish like a 500-yard stretch of grass in an hour, you should have fished a 5-mile stretch of grass in an hour.
I think it's hilarious you said that, George, because, I hate to keep bringing it up, but when we did the live with Greg, I come home and my dad calls me. He's like, dude, what was Greg throwing? A jerk bait? And I'm like, no, he was throwing a chatterbait. He goes, oh my God. He's like, my arms would have fell off. Then he was watching them, with the forward facing with the drop shot. He's like, he casts in. He's reeling in real quick. And then he's like, it wasn't the same as you would see the average person.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, they're putting themselves in such a better position to be opportunistic for a bite than the average person.
Well, I don't even think we necessarily know how to fish like that.
Right.
I mean, I don't. When I think I'm fishing fast, I'll look back and I'll be like, holy shit. I've been like a half a mile in the last 2 hours. And I think I got the trolling motor batteries worn out. I think what happens is your mentality is like, well, I might miss something. No, you're not going to miss anything because the fish are like, they're one here or they're one there.
Yeah.
You're looking for bait. You're looking for something different.
Yeah.
You're looking for something that has the fish, because the fish are going to follow the bait. The fish are going to follow the bait. And I'll tell you a great, for instance, that happened this year in the spring of the year. We were fishing an area and doing quite well pre-spawn. I mean, we were really doing well. And I'm going to say water temperature was probably in the 50s. And the fish were pre-spawn. We had a nice little run of weather, and I think some of the fish may have even spawned, but for the most part, no. But there was bait pretty much everywhere you looked. One day it was bugs. There was this incredible caddisfly hatch. I mean, like incredible. Just incredible. I've never seen anything like it. And the fishing was pretty good. Another day it was like minnows spawning. You know, we always talk about and hear about a shad spawn. Well, this was a minnow spawn. And then the next week, they were all gone. And when I say they were all gone, I mean, I had cameraman Nick fishing with me, and they were all gone. We fished a area that was about 4 square miles, and it was devoid of life. And about 3 miles above us was the greatest fishing show on earth. Just crazy good fishing. And all that bait moved. Whatever kind of outer space signal came down or whatever happened, I don't know. All I know is all of the fish left.
Yeah, it was strange.
And when I say they left, they swam 3 to 5 miles, all of them. And then, I don't know, 3-4 weeks later, they were back. So, you know, if you're not constantly covering water and picking up your trolling motor and making a run, put your trolling motor down, boom, 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 boom. Okay. I'm not catching them on grass. All right, let's go fish some wood. Pick up the trolling motor. Run to some good laydowns and some good docks and some good bulkheads. And just roll through docks, roll through bulkheads, roll through laydowns. You know, pay attention on the dock where you're getting bit. If you're getting bit, just keep going, keep going. Oh, okay, let's hit some rock. Then go run every little piece of rock that you know. And eventually, you're going to get lucky. You see how you get lucky? You get lucky by just going for it.
Grinding.
You make your own luck, right? So that's the kind of luck that I believe in.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. I mean, that's the luck that after you are making those decisions, you're making those moves, and you're doing everything right. You just got to stumble on those fish when they're biting, you know, and then that'll trigger, you know. Lucky to me is deciding to make a move to something totally different than you were fishing, and fishing within 15 to 20 minutes and getting bit. That's luck, because if you didn't get bit for that 15 minutes, you're already thinking about going somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? But when you got bit in that 15 minutes, that made you stay in that zone for another 15 minutes, and then you might get bit again. And it's like, oh, here's my pattern for the day. You see what I'm saying? That's where I think luck comes into play. The luck is that first bite on that move that you made from going from deep to shallow, or shallow to deep, or rock piles to grass, and get bit within that time frame before you decide to go do something else. Because I'm pretty quick on my decisions, man. I'm like, we got to go 57 miles south, George. That's where we got to go. We got to go all the way down here, and we got to make a gigantic. You know, that's the kind of moves that I'm talking about.
That's not happening.
And when we do that, and we do get bit, that's to keeps you in that zone. And then you get bit again, and all of a sudden you're putting a pattern together, and that's where I think luck comes into play. So anyway, great stuff, great conversation on that. I'm glad we unfolded that mystery of grinding. So I hope that helped you guys out.
Mystery
of grinding. The mystery of grinding. All right, this is Tackle Talk Live. We love talking about tackle, and I know you guys love listening about tackle. And we got a ton of tackle here to talk about, and this is called Tackle Talk. Yeah. We have a gigantic tackle box here, and we love talking about tackle. George, what do you got for us, man? It looks like some old school, some new school, some whatever stuff.
Yeah, I got some themes going here. I got some new colors. I got some exotic sports cars.
I love that.
But first I want to talk about something that is like, for me, it's a big deal. And if you ever were in either of our boats, you would know it's a big deal. One time, one of our guides broke his boat, and he was launching. He had clients that came in from out of state. I think this was last spring, and he was launching his boat. No, it was last fall. I'm sorry. They drove in from Ohio for a 2-day trip. He was launching his boat, and
catastrophic.
Some kind of weird thing happened. Anyways, he couldn't use his boat, so he called me, and he said, because I live like 20 minutes from where he was going to launch, and he's like, Mayday, Mayday. So I'm like, all right, keep your people entertained for a hot minute. And I hooked up the jet boat and took it up the road and dropped it off. And a couple days later, he brought it back and he said, I have never, ever seen more pairs of scissors in a boat in my life. Anywhere you looked, I'm like, that's the point. That is the point. Scissors, pliers, cutters, and files. You got to have lots of them, because if you have like 3 pairs of scissors, they huddle up together during the day, and wherever you're at, they're in another corner, hiding. So my first thing I like in scissors is bright handles. Okay? And I mean, I might as well just be a scissor testing zone, because I tie a lot of knots, and I like a good sharp pair of scissors. You know, we're cutting a lot of knots. We're cutting a lot of braid. What we do here at the shop is we put them over at the line winders, and here at the shop, we tie a lot of knots. I mean, it's nothing to wind 30, 40 reels on an average day or more. And a lot of them are backing with braid. So there you go. You got a knot to put the backing on the spool arbor. You got to trim that. You tie your braid to backing knot. You got to trim that. So we cut a lot of line. And if the scissors stay sharp over a decent period of time, you got a winner. Now, the other thing is rust. You know, boats get wet. It rains. People don't take good care of their stuff. They let it lay on the carpet of the boat.
Big problem.
On the floor of the boat.
Yep.
Up under the console. Stuck under the hot foot. You know, back in the recesses where the other scissors are huddling up hiding. And they rust. You cannot rust ceramic bladed scissors. The ceramic will not rust.
And those suckers stay sharp forever.
There is nothing on here that will rust. And to Mike's point, they will cut some braid or whatever.
For a long
like nobody's
time.
business.
For a long time.
They got a little micro serration on the edge. You can get that edge right flush against your braid when you're trimming the back end of your leader knot. You can get it flush cut so it doesn't grab a guide frame. You can cut
all day long.
The thinnest braid made to, you can take these out and cut the 100-pound test braid.
I was cutting 50-pound monofilament like it was nothing when I was spooling up 8,000 Penn Senator, what were they, 50 Ws or something like that?
I don't know. It was miles.
I was cutting them. I mean, it's like just right through it.
Spro, ceramic, scissors. And I've been intrigued by these for a long time. What happened was 6-7 years ago at ICAST, there was a guy that had a scissors with a ceramic blade, and they were excellent. I still remember Randy Howe telling me, best scissors ever. Well, they were giving them to him. This guy was out of his mind. He was charging insane prices for scissors. These are $15.99. And they're sharp. They cut braid. They cut anything. They don't rust.
It'll last you a long time. You get years of use out of
I didn't test them to see if they floated. I'm going to say no. So that's number one on the agenda today, the Spro ceramic braid scissor.
A plus rating.
That's what they call it. They call it the braid scissor.
We call that, is that an A plus rating?
That is a
9 out of 10.
that's a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
That's a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
I can't give it a 10 out of 10.
Well, it gives
But
you
I
no,
can give it a 9 out of 10.
gives you no room for growth.
Yeah, there's always a better scissor.
There's always something out there somewhere.
Yeah, there's always a better scissor. And, it's kind of like Portnoy's pizza rankings.
Yeah.
He doesn't go around handing out 10s.
No. Has he ever?
Never.
Never. How can you? There's always going to
Well,
be that better
can.
pizza.
But we haven't found it yet. And he's tested every pizza in America. I've tested all the scissors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to tell you, those are one of the best scissors I've ever used. And they've been on that winder over there. I got a pair sitting right over there that's been cutting line this whole fishing season as a test. That's the equivalent of the average guy fishing for 7 years. That's like the dog year thing. That's 1 year on the line winder is equivalent to 7 years of human life. So the dog years and the scissor years happen to be the same because they both get the same kind of activity levels.
Yeah. What, Nick, do you have a bunch of scissors in your boat?
Yeah, I do because but I was laughing about your guys because I went fishing with you guys quite a few times and somehow all the scissors wind up towards the back of the boat, George. I'm not sure why when the three of us go fishing together.
Yeah, they
do. You know why, George?
Well, it's kind of like the rigging station
I know
back
why.
there. It's the rigging station back here.
I know if I'm on the trolling motor, I know where they're going to end up.
George is like, okay, I got to retie here. Next thing you know, he's looking for scissors.
I don't know who asked here, but they asked if there was a, like a sheath or something that we sell. We don't sell anything like a sheath or something, but there's things out there like that. It's almost like that would be the perfect thing, but
that's not the perfect
Who
thing.
wants to wear one of them things around? You know what I mean? The thing is, we sell this really cool magnetic thing, but they're ceramic, so they're not going to stick to it.
Here's how you get your boat ready in the spring. When you're over the winter, when you have some downtime and you're getting your boat ready, get it all cleaned up nice. You reorganize your tackle. You get rods and reels cleaned, repaired, fresh line. You get your shopping list. You come down to Bass Fest, you stock up, you go back, you organize all that. The last thing you do is you buy a handful of scissors and you stand at the front of your boat and you shake them like dice and you give them a toss. And you're properly adjusted for line.
The thing that I noticed, Nick, is our boat, our glass boat is a little older and it doesn't have those nice slots all built in where you need where they thought those things out.
Those slots are a myth.
No,
they're a myth.
No. If we had slots
for me and Nick, they'd be great.
No, they'd be great.
They would
for
not
me
work
too.
for you because you would pull the scissors out of the slot, cut your line, and put them down on the deck right next to where you're standing.
You know what? You should invent that. You should invent you take a top cap piece off the back of the boat and you put a little thing in there for your slits for your unit. There you go.
Doesn't matter.
Well, it's called a rigging station, and on glass boats, you're working right there at the cockpit. Right. That's just a natural place to do it. So your slots are right there. On a jet boat, you got the nice back deck to do your work. and then you have the console. So maybe what I'll do is get some console slots,
There you go.
put some there, and then get slots back at the back deck.
I just got like
It's a pipe dream.
flashbacks of fishing with my dad up at New York. And I have to, you know how the St. Lawrence is.
Oh
You
yeah.
get those zebra mussels.
Oh, you're
and you gotta
retying
retie
all the time.
So I'm retying like every fifth cast, and I look back, and all my scissors that are lined up are gone. They're just gone, and I'm like, I'm in panic mode now because I got to get back in there. You know,
Yeah.
my boat's flying down the river, and next thing you know, I see like he's back there. What do you need? I'm like,
Yeah.
all my scissors. They're in his compartment back there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
What's going on, George? You know what I mean?
I don't know, Nick.
It's migration.
I'm not sure what's going on there, Nick.
I got nothing to do with it.
I do have a tool tip for everybody out there
I
in
got nothing to
TV
do with
land.
that.
I have a badass tool tip, and Mike can attest. Right in the middle of our last tournament, I did my tool maintenance.
Really?
Right in the middle. Well, I was digging in my hatch for some G juice to hit my fish. I was gonna give them their dose of G juice and their first hit of ice. And I looked in there and I'm like, oh, my line magic, my real magic. If you spray your tools down with real magic, they don't rust.
Yeah, right.
Spray it all down.
So I'm like,
files are the worst.
so I got my stuff there and I'm like, got my file out.
He was all happy he found it. He's like, look at this, man. I
In the
got
middle of the tour.
there it is. Hey, Mike, what do you think of that?
Got
I'm
all
like,
my scissors.
I'm up here like bailing casts and everything, and he's
Mike's
back
like,
there.
what are you doing
He's
back there?
spraying shit down.
Nothing's gonna rust. But that is a tip for you.
So we don't have to worry about any rust and pliers in the middle of a tournament.
So your line dressing, right?
27 casts he could have made.
You know, whether you're using real magic or whatever, it's essentially silicone. And I like the real magic, the real line magic, just because.
What was that other lithium grease that those guys use? No?
We're not talking about lithium grease. We're talking about line dressing.
Somebody told me that, like, if you had like a pouch or something to spray down inside that with lithium grease and then shove your tools down there and constantly stay nice.
That's
No, just because it's not what you do doesn't mean it's not right.
it's not right. So let me finish what I was saying before you start greasing shit up. Get your line dressing out, okay? Not whatever lithium grease is, because I don't even know what that is. But if you have lithium grease, leave it at home.
I think our dad told us about that.
No, he didn't.
Spray it down with lithium.
Get your line dressing out, okay?
I'll fix everything.
And spray your tools. Now, I have some Lowrance graphs, and they're connectors. You push in and you turn. Well, that plastic on plastic gets real tight sometimes. So I spray all my graph connections down. I spray the pins down on my Garmins. I spray the plugs down on my birds. I spray the plugs down on my Lowrances.
He's sponsored by all three, you know.
Yeah.
He's got them all.
He's got them all.
Yeah.
Guess what? They all work great. There's no green mold on them. There's no rust. My files aren't all. Well,
So,
one of them is.
I got to ask you guys, though. You're in the middle of the tournament. George, you know, he starts
I'm doing tool maintenance.
tool maintenance. Mike, do you say anything?
I don't say a word because he's back there. I don't even know what the hell he's doing, but he's digging through all these hatches. Like he's digging in these hatches and unloading all this stuff out of these hatches, looking for stuff. And, you know, the thing about George is he works in mysterious ways and he works magic when he does this stuff. I mean, he comes up with this crazy ass shit. And
I was on it.
he was just like, you know, all of a sudden he just pops up with this rig. He throws in and catches a 3-pounder. And it's
Next
like,
thing you know,
I mean, it's like,
live well's full.
it's like what in the hell, George, you know? And
I know where my stuff is.
but there's a thing about when you watch these professionals on TV, how organized they are.
Some
And-
of them.
Yeah, some of them, but a lot of them are very organized. They know exactly where, and I fish with a lot of them, you know, during the years that I was able to fish as a co-angler. And I watch, and sometimes I just sit there and watch them, you know, how, you know, methodical they were. And although George and I don't have the time to work on our boats like we used to, he's very methodical about that. So when in the middle of the tournament, He'll open that hatch up and says, this ain't right, man. This is just, I got, he starts digging and organizing and he gets it right. And then, oh man, here's this spray. And then, oh, this is perfect for all of our tools. And he just sits there and does like 14 scissors, 2 files, 9 pliers. And then he takes care of the fish. And it's all methodical, organized. And it's not, now that whole thing is organized and done. But during a tournament, I don't know.
That's when I do my best work.
That's the kind of time we have. We have 0 time to work on our shit before we even get there. And then when we're out in the water, we're kind of maintaining our stuff while we're on the water.
That sounds like an excuse.
No, it is. That's exactly what it is. Excuse.
Anyways, getting back to tackle talk. Spro ceramic braid scissors, $15.99. 9 rating on the SFT tool scale.
Yeah. Here's a guy that
we
says
rate tools,
this KY
and we rate
work.
Tools.
This KY work. That's great.
That's like I said, we rate.
That's funny. I don't care who you are.
All right. Sorry for losing the show. Okay. Next up is a plastic crawl that's been around for a little while, but we got some new colors. And I want to show you the G-Crack Bellows crawl, but I want to show you some new colors. So first we're going to start off here. G-Crack Bellows crawl. Now this is a badass crawl.
Boy, I wish Skeeter Steve was here to talk about this. He absolutely loves that freaking crawl.
I mean, this thing is badass. You have, it's not a big crawl. It's not like a big flipping crawl. For example, this would make a nice trailer on a skirted jig. Or chatterbait. So just to give you a size comparison. Sorry, this is the closest thing I have to a jig.
Hang on with that, Aaron. We'll get to that here in a little bit.
So here's just a typical, just for size comparison, here's a typical dirty jig, swim jig. This particular one has caught a lot of fish. And just to let you know, I'm just going to put this crawl on there like I was putting them on, just to give you an idea of size. So it's just it's just that perfect size, right?
Matches up nice. That is a perfect size.
So that's just for you to get an idea on the size of this crawl. Now, this crawl is great as a jig trailer, obviously. This crawl is great just on a jig head, just putting it on a ball head or putting it on a football head and dragging it. Just dragging it.
You're not covering Skeeter Steve's technique.
Yeah, I didn't get there yet.
All right.
Boy, this guy tonight, man.
I'm just telling you're not going to say it. I bet you won't say it.
Man.
Skeeter Steve.
This is tight.
Tight. I tipped you up.
Tight.
I tipped you up before we even got started, and then you didn't go right there.
So a ball head, a football jig head, dragging it. Obviously, I mean, a number of different rigs. Now, guy that works at the store here is named Skeeter Steve. He free rigs this thing.
There you go.
I mean, he free rigs the heck out of this thing and catches a bunch of fish. But that's their green pumpkin. That's been around. But check this out. This is called AJ's Juice. It's basically a green pumpkin and a purple flake. It's freaking money. Let's get some flash of vision going there, Nick. Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. Woo.
Are they hollow claws?
No. Nope, they're bulbous.
Bulbous?
AJ's Juice. And then this color is fairly new. It came out a little while ago, but the availability on it, like, big time sucked. Which, you know, G-Crack's a little tough, but this is a killer color plum. I mean, that is a killer color. G-Crack.
Kind of peanut butter and jelly-ish, isn't it, Nick? A little bit, maybe.
Bellows Crawl. Of course, it's got the SAF material. It's got the famous SAF scent.
What's SAF material?
That's the smell and the plastic.
Is
They call it the SAF material.
Is it a stronger plastic?
I think it stands for, like, you know, super as.
Beep, beep.
Sorry, that was low hanging fruit. My bad. I apologize profusely. Come on, man. You teed that up. I just took it straight down the frickin' fairway.
Right on, brother.
400.
I wouldn't expect anything less. I love G-Crack, man. I'm telling you. And Skeeter Steve loves that crawl. He catches a shit ton of fish on it. I think he went up to Skinny Atlas and went through like 4 bags of it in 1 week.
You can go through 4 bags of anything on Skinny Atlas in one day.
I mean, he caught a shit ton of fish on those things. I wish he would chime in here and tell us the rig he used. I think it was the free rig.
Those colors, particularly the AJ's colors, are throughout the line. They're throughout the line. So,
yeah.
You know, we have a comment on here. Someone saying how the Bellows Shad has been money in that color. Yeah, the Bellows Shad, the Bellows Gill, the Bellows Craw, you know, all money. And speaking of G-Crack, and we went over this a few weeks ago, so I'm just going to touch on this. This is something that, you know, will get you bit. In a variety of situations. So this is the Bellows Shad. See, the profile is more slender than the Bellows Gill. And a lot of people run this as a trailer on a spinnerbait or a chatterbait. But it's deadly Nico rigged or wacky rigged. So I have it rigged up here. You know, but this is a wide body bait. So, you know, the bellows aspect of it, you know, you still have that core of that bait. So in order to do this, we use what's called a Nico hack. And in essence, what we're doing is we're going to end up with this. See, the hook is going through the Nico hack. It's not going through the bait.
Yeah, it's got a big T on the bottom that keeps it from pulling through, so it makes it last a lot longer.
I'm going to show you one. This is a pretty slick deal right here. And this is a fish catching deal here. You can fish this weightless, and it kind of does one of those numbers, and you can Nico rig it, and it still kind of wanders a lot because it's got so much surface. Obviously, you can Texas rig these things and flip them, but these are some alternate rigs. You can free rig them. You can rig it up with a smaller hook and free rig it. You know, like if I was going to free rig this, I'd probably do like a wide gap, like 2.0, and just a free sliding free rig. But here's your Nico hack.
You can even see the hole in that, George. That's perfect.
That's good camera work.
Good camera.
And here it is in the bottom of the bait. So in essence, we just took the Nico hack and we pushed it through the bait. Now we cut this pointy part off when we're done rigging. See how that's cut off? There's a little spot there where you can just nip it off. Bellows shad, bellows gills. The bellows gill like this, bellows shad.
Mm-hmm.
This is good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is good fish catching stuff. And you can fish it weightless. You can Nico rig it with a little tungsten weight, little nail weight action.
There's lots of ways to rig it, but that's a really cool way. And you can put a nail weight in the nose and Nico rig it. You can wacky it just like that. I mean, whatever.
I think it's really cool when companies like G-Crack, Z-Man, they see opportunities to make improvements on what they have.
Yeah.
And they come out with little things like that are like, wow, I can even use your baits even better now.
Well, what's really cool about those companies is how fast they can react.
Yeah.
They react instantaneously. There's a lot of companies that they can't react that fast. I don't know why, but they just cannot react that fast.
Bob Austin has an interesting question. When do you decide to use a weight? So, for example, on that on this bellow shad, so to answer that for you, Bob, if I'm fishing shallow and I'm around fish and perhaps I've caught a few fish in that area and I want to kind of go back through it and I want to skip this thing into like shade lines and just let it do its work and it's not windy, I'm going to go no weight because it's got a little bit of weight. But if it's, a little bit deeper, 4, 5, 6 feet deep, maybe there's a little wind, maybe there's a little current. It's kind of like when you're throwing a weightless bait in a wind and you get that bow in your line and it kind of drags the bait. That's when you want to put that weight in there. Or if you just want to fish it a little deeper and you want to just kind of, because this thing right here, when it falls, it's kind of planing. And then on the bottom, when you're pulling it, it's kind of flipping up and kind of wobbling down a little bit. You might put for like 6-7 feet of water, you might put no more than an eighth of an ounce. A 16th is going to be your key weight here. A 16th. And whatever hook you choose. I have a Nico rig hook here, mostly because I had it.
No reason for it.
I mean, I like this kind of hook.
That's a VMC hook, isn't it, George?
Yeah. I like this hook. I like the VMC.
Yeah.
I like the Mustad Titan. I wish Mustad. Hey, Mustad, if you're watching, I know you make hooks and stuff and you're like pretty big into that, globally. There's one model in your catalog that's 17.5 inches thick with 500 million hooks in it. It's called a Titan Wacky. Make me some. I'll tell everybody about them. Good Lord. How hard can that be? Yeah, good question there, Mr. Bob Austin. Pretty much when you're Nico rigging, you're in more of an open water situation. You could be Nico rigging deep around like offshore cover, maybe in the form of a brush pile. Or Mike and I have this cool spot we fish on one of the reservoirs on the river here that's got like 4 or 5 big old like trees, not real super limmy, but big tree logs that have drug in and snagged up on these rocks over the years. And it is a gnarly bottom. You can clean your box, your drop shot weight box.
Forget about it.
If you got some gnarly ones that you want to get rid of, I'll bring you to a spot. But what's cool about this place is when there's current, it's money. You can crank it. You can slow down too. You know, you go through the progression, right? We always talk about the progression, most active to least active. But when you gotta when you've gone through all that and they're wise or they're not playing or you just want to find out, you know, you never leave that area or any area like that without throwing either a drop shot or a Nico rig. And the Nico rig, which is often not associated with deeper water, is really good there. But you're going to go to a little bit of a bigger weight. You know, obviously, you need to get down there. So that would be the example there, Bob, of like, you know, I wouldn't Nico rig that bait there, but I would Nico rig like a 7-inch worm there, straight tail worm, and I would use like a 1/8 or a 3/16 ounce weight. So hopefully that helps you a little bit there, Bob. But the shallow water, that 16th ounce is money. You know, lately we've been Nico rigging dice and putting a nail weight crossways in the bottom of the dice, just a little nail weight. Just because them suckers don't cast worth a damn by themselves. Yeah.
George, when you put the nail weight crossways on the dice, are you putting your hook then around the nail or not?
No,
I put the hook, the nail under the hook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to stay away from that hook, that weight.
Yep.
Okay.
We're gonna figure those bastards out yet. I'm telling you.
Well, I can almost guarantee you that Koya is catching them on that.
I guarantee you there's a lot of fish being caught on them that nobody's talking about.
Yeah.
George has been messing with them, but we haven't had the right conditions. Should have thrown it the last tournament, but I don't think they're even they were in the other boat. We should have thrown those things because we had a fish that was smoking hot on and we couldn't get him to bite anything, and we would won that tournament, George.
I'll tell you, the tangents you go off on.
We would have won that tournament, I guarantee you.
All right. Now,
what else you got, buddy?
You
got to keep moving here.
No, I like my pace.
The
next thing I got for you is just because it's a cool name and also because I love brush hog style baits. And I think this is forgotten, overlooked, not completely because we sell a fair amount of them, but it's a forgotten, it's overlooked by many. Some of you might not even know it exists. It's the man bear pig from Reaction.
I wonder what spiked them to make that name.
I can't believe you would ask that question. You know the guys.
I know. That's true.
And what you got here is you have a very traditional brush hog style bait. Interesting. It's kind of like in between the baby and the full size. It's kind of like the mid-size brush hog. You've got sort of the elongated sweet beaver style body all married together into one.
Which we love that reverse rib on those.
Yeah. You got all their like signature colors, you know, Magic Crawl Swirl, you know, California 420, all the colors that everybody has these days that they invented. Look at that thing, man. Salty. Carolina rig it, flip it. Deadly. Highlighting the man bear pig from Reaction Innovations.
That's a great Carolina rigging.
And guess what? $5.99 a pack. And there's like, I don't even know how many's in there, a pile of them. There's that many in there.
8 or 10
for
in there
$6.
So if you guys decided you were going to Carolina rig that particular bait, what size hook do you think you're putting in that, George?
Well, I'm going to do, and I Carolina rig with a different hook than what a lot of people do. I Carolina rig a lot of times with an EWG. And a regular offset shank round bend would probably be a better choice, but I just like that EWG. I'm gonna do a 3-0.
3-0.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And if I'm around a body of water where there's a bunch of big fish, I'm gonna do a super line.
Okay.
Just because I'm gonna put the wood to them. But that's a great bait.
That is a great
Plus,
looking bait.
pitching and flipping. You know, all your brush hog style baits. You know, Zoom, of course, invented the brush hog, the baby brush hog. Now they have the mid-sized brush hog, the tiny brush hog. Those are killer baits.
Yeah.
And then every good manufacturer has one. Strike King has the game hog. Reaction Innovations has the man bear pig. Now, if we are going to rank power rankings, so if I'm going to do my week 1 power rankings on creature baits, right off the get-go, man bear pig's number 1 just because of the name. Right? Just because of the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all right. We got about 300 phone calls in the last 2 weeks for Depp's Sakamata shads. And we got some bad news for you. We don't have any. However, we have Nomad Live Ops, Cobra, and I think the research they did on this was based upon buying a pack of Sakamata shads and making a mold after it. But this is Elastec. It's actually TPE. It's a little stiffer than like a Z-Man Elastec. So you're going to catch fish on this until you lose the whole jig head. And if you want to truly hover stroll this with a 90-degree bent jig hook and no lead weight, there is in this belly here, there's tungsten beads. Right there's one. I'm not even going to attempt to show it to you. And there's a series of little holes in the bottom. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, it ain't easy putting them beads in there. But I don't think that matters because I know hardly anybody who hover strolls in the traditional manner. Everyone I know uses a jig head, such as the range roller from Owner.
You know, I fished that the other day, George, and that thing, when they say range roller, Nick, when you start shaking that, you can feel the pop, 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 pop like this. You can feel that.
So that's a 3-0 hook. It's going to be perfect fit there. On the range roller. And then when you go up north, you got to be prepared if you're shaking a minnow to match the hatch. So you need a full size run of minnows, 6-inch on down, 6-inch down to 3.5, 3-inch. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the Live Ops.
Well, it's
Cobra.
It's a great alternative to the bait you can't get, and it's like everybody that is looking for another bait. You know, this is the one. The Cobra is the bait. It does the same exact thing.
Well, yeah, and I don't think you could hear it on live when we went in the tournament, but there was Doc Talk. and a lot of individuals are looking for some of these baits. And the talk of the doc talk was go to live ops.
Yeah.
Because it's the same concept.
Yeah.
Plus, you can catch a lot more fish with them.
Oh, you can catch a ton of fish with them.
Yep.
Yeah, well, they're 4 in a pack for $14.99, but the fish cannot tear the bait.
Yeah, it's the same as like a style, like a Z-Man plastic style
It's
bait.
TPE, yeah.
Yeah, TPE.
Yep.
I mean, it's you know how that stuff is, Nick. Catch a ton of freaking bait fish on it.
And they're scented as well.
Yeah.
You know, they're scented.
Yeah.
So Michael Bradley has a great question. Could you fish that as a fluke style bait, weightless? I'm going to say it's probably not going to work real well for that. You know, you would want to have the tungsten balls inserted.
Right.
And they make a fluke style bait called the Wingman in the Live Ops series. Look at the Wingman. And that
It's not.
yes.
It's not TPE.
It's not TPE.
No. It's a
And-
sinkable plastic.
And it will do great as a fluke style bait.
Absolutely.
It's also a great minnow bait for
Yeah.
shaking, but it does great for that. But that's a great question. This bait here is designed when you shake it, it has some lift to it. It has some lift to it as well as the rock and the roll. That's what that whole wing thing is about. That whole wing thing is about picking that bait up to help maintain it in a position above the fish. And it also creates a bunch of roll when you're shaking it with the right jig head. So that's an alternative bait.
It's interesting that Nomad Design did plastics in different types of plastics for different types of techniques. That they really thought it out. It's a well thought out concept, and you know, TPE as opposed to regular plastics for this bait, for that bait. They thought it out well, and they worked with their pros, and they worked with their guys, and they came up with these great.
Well, one thing you guys always talk about,
Presentations.
like with Reaction Innovations, you always say those guys are fish heads.
Yeah,
I can tell you the guys at Nomads are fish heads too.
they're freaking junkies, man.
Yeah.
They are absolute junkies.
The other thing about this Live Ops, it's scented. There you can see the tungsten balls because this has a clear belly.
And you can remove them.
You can. Now, I'm going on record with you to let you know this little tool they have for inserting them and removing them. You probably will never see anybody do a video of that happening.
I think if you do it over and over, like Greg could do it really quick. You know, he does it. He knows how to start it and get it in there and then push it in and stuff like that. But it takes a little bit because you know they wanted it so that the balls don't just fall out.
Oh, they're not going to fall out.
You know what I mean? So it's not the easiest thing to do, but you know, you're not going to do this out in the water. You're going to do it ahead of time, have everything rigged up the way you
I don't
want
think it matters because you're putting a jig head on it.
Oh yeah, but you could fish it with the plain hook, like you know what the idea of the way to design it, to balance it to any way you want it to get the full reaction out of the cobra head.
Well, if it was me, I would take the balls out and I would fish it on a jig head. That's just me. That's the money color right there. Look at that bad boy. These are nice baits. I'd like to say these are nice. The whole lineup is nice, but this bait, which we're featuring here tonight, is a shaken minnow shaker's delight.
It is. It really is.
And you can put that on your favorite jig
What's
head.
the length of that, George?
Whatever,
5 inch?
whatever your favorite jig head is, you can put it on your favorite
4.5.
jig head.
4.5 inch. It's a great size. Perfect. I like it.
All right, let's get to some exotic race cars.
I love me some exotic race cars.
So we got in the Shimano Accents B. So this is the second generation of Shimano Accents. Okay, Shimano Accents is essentially, like, for lack of a better term, essentially a Stella. So you have, all the features. You have the micro module gear made out of the best aluminum alloy that they have, meshing up with their pinion gear made out of the best alloy they have for that. You have, this is a 4,000 size. Couple things I like about the B version, we have a little bit more spool capacity. The original version was even shallower than this. So I like having just a little more spool capacity. Here's the 3,000 size. And you'll see it's a shallow spool, but it's got enough
It's plenty
capacity.
of line. Plenty of line.
I want to point out the rotor. So the rotor is asymmetrical. You'll notice this side is completely different than this side. So they removed a bunch of weight from the rotor, but it's still balanced. Because you have your line roller and bail arm assembly on this side, it's offset by the trip mechanism being moved to this side. So very ingenious. This rotor is made out of a CI4 carbon. So it's very light, very, very little inertia to start it. One-piece bail wire, obviously. Anti-twist fin, obviously. It's got all the features. 11 shielded anti-rust bearings. They will not rust. This reel is approved for saltwater use. It's got core protect. It takes an incredible event to get water in this reel. The drag is really cool. So this turn right here, for example, which was a quarter of a turn, on your reel, if you have a Stratic, that's equal to a turn or more. So it's a quick adjust drag. I'm not exactly sure what the ratio is, but that is not a quarter of a turn. So you can have a higher drag setting with lighter line for like a hook setting and then back it off. For example. Anyways, the drag material is a carbon. It's called Duracross carbon. This is a 3,000. This forms 20 pounds of drag. It weighs 6.4 ounces. The 3,000 is a power ratio. It's 5/8 to 1 gear, retrieving 34 inches of line per crank. When you have that big core, even at the end of your cast, you're bringing in a big. You're not drastically altering the diameter of your spool. The 2500 is a 6/4 to 1 ratio, 20 pounds of drag, bringing in 37 inches of line. So it's not a big difference between 25 and 3, but the 4, 40 inches of line per crank because of that diameter.
What's the weight on that one, George?
This is 7.9.
Yeah, it's still freaking light as all get out. So you can go to that bigger reel and get the maximum amount of line intake, and it's not weighing down your rod.
Put it on a bigger rod.
Well, we put it on a 7. What do we have it on today? A 7.6 NRX. I mean, it was unreal. It was a great setup.
It's bad to the bone. It's a serious reel. The gearing is primo. Now, the 2500 and the 3000 are $599.99. The 4000 $609. So I mean, we're not going out and buying multiples, but if you're like a one kick-ass combo a year kind of guy, now check this out. This has what's called a super slow oscillation. It's called infinity loop. Look at the stroke on that spool. Watch the line roller spin. And as it relates to that spool. What's happening is you're getting as near a parallel line wrap as you can get.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, really something else. So
line comes off clean, less tangles, less friction, more casting distance, more accuracy.
I mean, in essence, it's the technology, it's the, it's the, I don't know what the right wording is. It's, it's the technology, it's the, it's the real designers pushing the limits. This stuff will then trickle down through the line. Daiwa and Shimano both do that very, very well. And today we're kind of celebrating this reel because I'll tell you, feel this. Feel how smooth that is.
It's incredible.
Feel that?
Feel-O-Vision. Brought to you by sfttackle.com.
I don't know if I can keep it reeling by itself. She's a beauty. So yeah, Xsense B is in stock. We're expecting the 2500s soon. I want to say they're scheduled to be here within a month. The 3s and the 4s are here, and yeah,
Nice.
we gotta bring it. We gotta bring it. It's part of the show, people.
Absolutely. Stuff's trickling in every day. I mean, we're getting all kinds of crazy stuff in here every day. You guys need to stop by the shop or check out the website. We're loading in as fast as it comes in, and you guys can check it all out online or stop in the shop here and touchy-feely it, which is the best way.
Did you guys get a chance today to watch? I know you did, but did you to watch the Elite Day 1 on St. Clair?
I got to watch a little bit.
I mean, I was at my desk. Just what was the word we used earlier about fishing?
Grinding.
I was grinding on some spreadsheets. I was in the minutia of Daiwa today.
Nice.
I went line item by line item through Daiwa's complete offerings for 25. I didn't realize that was going to take me 2 straight days, but it did. But anyways, as I was grinding along there, I had myself set up to watch our favorite tournament series. I think I'm fair in saying that. And these guys are as good as it freaking gets.
And they're catching the shit out of giant fish. I mean, it's crazy. Is it better than the St. Lawrence?
I think so.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, when you get to
when you start looking at the 20-pound mark.
So when you get to this point of the discussion where you're going to start ranking bodies of water, I like to use the terminology 1 and 1A.
So what I mean,
like I'm going to throw out 4 names for you: Lake Ontario, Lake Erie, St. Lawrence River, St. Clair. I mean, 1, 1A, 1B, 1C, because none of them are 2.
No,
none of them are 2.
No, you're right.
So
you're right. But,
I mean,
but honestly, I mean, they're not catching like 6-pounders, but they're. I mean, the number of 20-pound bags is insane.
I think what you just said is really the nail, the key.
Yeah.
When you go to St. Lawrence River,
you see 6-pounders.
You have a really legitimate shot of catching a 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you see them. You see them in weigh-in.
Well, I mean, you have a legitimate shot of catching one.
Yeah.
Now, are you going to catch a 7? Probably not. Are you going to catch a 5? Well, if you're doing your homework right, you should catch about 4 or 5 of those a day.
Yeah.
Now, we go here, and we have 48th place.
Yeah.
Is 20 pounds, 2 ounces.
This is what I'm talking about.
48th.
It's crazy.
48th. Now, our good man, Greg DePalma, is in 38th with 20. But check this. 38th. First place is 24.11. So we have 38th place is 20 pound 4. Well, what the hell? 40th place is 20 pound
1.
1.
Yeah.
48th.
Yeah.
is 20-pound one,
Yeah.
and first is 24.11.
All right, question for you.
That's
Yeah.
a 4-pound, 10-ounce
Difference.
difference.
Yeah.
Are most of those fish, in your opinion, that were weighed in today, weighed in on that lake, or did they have to run to other lakes?
Well, they caught most of them on St. Clair.
All right,
Yeah.
so I will make a debate, and I will make a really heavy debate that
I love it.
St. Lawrence should be 2 out of all the lakes or all the bodies of water that you said. And I will make that debate because most people that go to the St. Lawrence will go as close to the lake as possible,
But not in it.
but not in it, but not necessarily fishing the river.
Exactly.
So
Whoa.
No, I know that.
You know what I'm
I
saying.
know what he's going to say. I know what he's going to say.
So is there something else other than Lake Ontario and the St. Lawrence River? Is there a nether
there
region?
is a section there that is
The nethers?
borderline
the power zone.
Yeah.
It's the power zone. It's the lake within the lake. It's the mouth.
So
Would you say the mouth?
Here's where I'm going
The
with this
mouth?
debate. Hold on. This is where I'm going with this debate. You're literally skipping over 90 miles of the river
Yeah.
to go to that section. And if you could go further, you would.
Yeah, but you
They're
can't.
not doing that at the lake they're at today.
Yeah, right.
So I would say, if you had to stay on the river, let's say you go all the way back to Clayton, or
yeah,
you go all the way back to even further, would there be as many 20-pound bags as there is today? I would say, I don't know.
Well, I mean, if the queen had balls, she'd have been the king.
That's true.
So, I mean, let's not sway.
but even
Defi-
still, but
Let's not sway definitions here.
yeah, no, but even still,
The river is the river.
how
The
many-
lake is the lake.
what place was 20 pounds in all these other tournaments? I don't think they went that deep.
Oh, they went deep.
I don't think they went that deep.
Pull it up.
48.
You got
I
a
know. I'd
computer
love
in
to
front of
see
you?
it. I'd
There's
love
only
to know.
one guy that didn't catch a limit.
No, I know, but I'm saying
There's one guy that had 2 limits. One of his limits weighed 21.5,
Really?
and the limit he weighed in weighed 16.
Uh-oh. How's that?
He self-reported himself.
Is he DQ'd?
No, they made him dump his whole live well and start over.
All right, hold on. What did he self-report himself on?
out of bounds.
He went over a little red line on his GPS, didn't realize it.
Oh,
He went back to sit down at his console to make a move, and he looked at his GPS, and he's like,
oh, wow.
so he
what-
called him up, and they're
No
like,
wonder they were biting so well.
they're like, dump your fish out. Now, he was just like, it was kind of like that Brandon Palaniuk situation where he got DQ'd.
I was Michigan, I think, or
No, that was the Mississippi River out
Yeah.
of La Crosse.
oh, okay.
There was a at the time
Wisconsin or Michigan.
at the time there was a closed season
Oh, right,
on a little tiny part of the river.
right.
And he accidentally crossed a line like that.
I thought it was,
Hackney
it
did it
was
too.
a board. I thought it was a
Huh?
state border.
Hackney did it too on Cayuga. He got DQ'd.
Oh yeah, he went to the Nebrina. Yeah.
It's easy
And
to do.
there was a guy fishing from Africa on the Three Rivers Bassmasters Classic who self-reported himself and got DQ'd.
What was his name?
I can't remember.
Jerry Houston.
Jerry used to.
Is that what it was? Yeah, he self-reported himself. Which, you know what? What angler was it? Do you know, George? Today?
Jerry Houston.
No, today.
Oh, it was Ray Hanselman.
You know what? Good for him. And he still went out and caught a limit. Good for him.
Yeah. Well,
I saw he weighed in like 16 pounds, and then after they got done weighing, they started talking to him up on stage, and he goes, "Yeah," he said, "the first limit weighed 21.10."
jeez.
You know what's a shame about that in reality is he definitely needed that 21.10 because he's not looking too good for.
No, tomorrow there would have to be like some horrific weather event to if you have like 18 pounds or less or 17 pounds or less, there would have to be some sort of horrific weather event. Or you would have to have like the greatest, because to get back to Nick's excellent point, gentlemen, if I may, on the St. Lawrence River or portions of the river that have other names, you can catch, like 3 over 6 and 2 over 5 in the river or some portion of the river. So let's just round that out to 28 pounds. On this lake here, you pretty much saw what they can catch. 5s. I don't think there was a 6-pounder weighed in.
No, there wasn't. There wasn't. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying though it would be interesting to see how deep 20 pounds went on the St. Lawrence.
It went deep.
I know it did go deep, but I wonder how really deep it went.
It went real deep in both tournaments. The Tackle Warehouse Invitational, and the Open. It went real deep.
Well, I would like to know what that is. That's what I'm saying.
Up.
Well, I don't have time right now. Right in the middle of a show. It'd be cool to find out.
Okay. Because
that's how the ratings would go. Because if it went to 50 or 60 or 55, say, of 20 pounds, then there's no question. The St. Lawrence.
They're all great.
The St. Lawrence, Lake Ontario, #1, period.
Well, no, that's 2 different bodies of water.
Oh, did you separate the two?
Yeah. St. Lawrence.
How can you separate it when it's tournament water?
Most of the time, you're not allowed to fish the lake.
Oh.
St. Lawrence, Lake Ontario, Lake Erie, St. Clair.
Yeah. Well, go up there and try to catch that 25 pounds, son.
I know it ain't easy.
It's not easy. Those freaking guys.
They didn't catch 25 pounds.
No.
They caught 24-11.
In the St. Lawrence.
Oh.
Go up there and try to do it.
It's not easy.
Go up there and try to do it. I dare anybody.
20 pounds is pretty achievable.
Yes.
25
I would say
pounds, you better know what you're doing.
I would say that 20 pounds is something that we could, and
it's still not easy.
And still have a 5.5 pounder in our bag, which is like the greatest thing in the whole world. And I would do backflips with that any day of the week.
Well,
but that doesn't get you anything. Zero.
My last trip up there,
it's incredible.
My buddy that I was fishing with had 26, and I had 21.
That's awesome.
And none of them came out of the river. Not one.
They fished Lake Ontario.
Not one.
But it's just one of them things where, it's just crazy what that body of water can produce. And I'm just saying that for this lake, to me, it just seemed like it was just.
Were they you guys watched it?
Yeah.
Were they did it fish big or did it fish small?
Oh yeah, no.
What fished big, really big this time.
What hurt them was the wind.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are fishing over by the mouth of Lake Huron. Or they would like to be. But she got a little sporty out there today.
It wasn't happening.
Well, it wasn't blowing in the right direction. So they like it blowing from certain directions so they can float with the fish. And the way it was blown today, they had to float across the fish. So they weren't getting the full drift with the school. They were cutting across it.
So if the wind changes, that could change a lot.
If it changes around, they get the right drift. Because a lot of those guys said they caught 24, 25 in practice.
I can't help but laugh because this tournament that you're talking about, I keep thinking of Onum. And what he does is he makes really long runs most of the time. So he takes a block of wood, he puts it in his hot foot, and that's his cruise control. he just goes.
Yeah. He did good today. He's second.
Oh yeah, he's 24 pounds. Yeah, he did real well.
Second place. I mean, and he's supposed to have a baby and stuff. Did you hear him today on the way?
I'm not leaving.
Yeah, I'm not going, honey. So put a cork in it. That guy's funnier than hell. Well, what an amazing tournament! I mean,
his top 10 is the who's who, man.
And Greg,
Will Davis is in third with
23-3.
He's been hot all year.
Yeah.
Dakota Eber, a natural. Easton Fothergill,
sure.
or as the stallion likes to call him, the Rod Father. He's in fifth, and tied with him is Caleb Summerall. So you got a guy from Louisiana who's a big-time smallmouth guy. And then Koyota Fujita is in seventh with 22-13, tied with Brian Schmidt out of Maryland.
That's great.
With 22-13.
That's great seeing that, yeah.
Because he's a big-time northern guy. Paul Mueller, who's been doing this forever, 22-7. John Cruz in 11th.
That's great seeing him, yeah.
He's in 11th, so But what's interesting is on this northern swing, and now we've watched 3 or 4. Well, we're in the middle of like the 4th tour event up north. And it's very interesting. I kind of made some notes like the drop shot
Yeah.
is big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Shaking a minnow
Yeah. Man.
in some tournaments is bigger than the drop shot. In other tournaments, it's not.
McKinney said that when he was fishing, the fish are nomadic. They're just out there roaming around. He's just running them down.
You got to trick them.
You got to trick them. You got to trick them, and you got to run them down. And he said he covered a shit ton of water, and he's just running across the fish, and he's catching them that way.
The Champlain events, the big minnow plays
Oh yeah,
because
that's a
they're
big
eating
deal.
perch or smelt, and they're big. So the big minnow plays on that body of water.
And George, you brought up something earlier that kind of relates to all these northern bodies of water. You said when you and I went fishing in the spring that these fish basically left that area and they went 3 miles up the river
Or more.
We're talking about smallmouths.
Yeah.
Here.
They roll.
These guys that are on these fish today, guess what? They could go to these areas tomorrow
And they're gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Big
what
time.
smallmouths do.
They do.
So St. Clair is a big giant basin. It's a big
Bowl
It's just like this.
with little teeny small
Goes
little
like this.
things in it.
Goes like this. Looks like a giant one of them saucers that you go sledding on.
Christmas vacation
Yeah.
saucer.
Looks like a giant saucer. And, there's all kinds of cool hardcover near the bank. But when you get off the bank, it's sand and sand grass. Sand grass is like small little tufts of blade grass.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like my yard. It's not really filled in too well. And the fish just are like, a couple things about St. Clair. The fish relate to bait, not cover, because they're not on the bottom. They're just out there like cruising around,
Swimming around.
pillaging schools of bait.
Yeah.
And they have emerald shiners on that lake.
Yep.
Last year, the last time they were up here, they were talking today about how the anglers were talking about the crawfish in their live wells. Well, a lot of those fish were caught in Anchor Bay, a little closer to shore, in a little more grass. And crawfish love grass. And a smallmouth, he ain't turning down
He's going to run after one of them things.
an ample supply.
Mm-hmm.
So Mike and I fished a tournament, our second Conowingo tournament that we fished this year. Our live well pump was barely trickling water at one point during the day. I heard it. I heard it like, I literally heard, because I listened to it spraying all the time. I literally heard it like the pump like strained. And I opened up the thing and it was just like trickling. I reached down in and the intake's about this big around. It was completely coated in crawfish shells and various crawfish body parts.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pulling out handfuls of it and throw it in the river.
Mm-hmm.
They were eating crawfish on a shad eater, on a shad fishery. They were eating crawfish. The first tournament we fished the same areas, they were eating shad. We didn't have that problem. But the shad left, and they just started eating them crawfish, which isn't too far-fetched because crawfish will molt a couple times in the summer.
Absolutely.
So it probably was a molt.
Absolutely.
I know how you get when there's soft shells to be found. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I can just only imagine.
George, you
Absolutely.
bring up the crawfish. So when you see a lot of shad or bait fish, you're trying to match the hatch.
Yeah.
And you usually catch fish. But when you see a lot of crawfish all over the place and they're overabundance, do you have the same amount of
Did
luck?
you ever see
That's a problem.
Did you ever see a
It's a
crawfish
problem.
molt,
No.
Nick?
It's a problem.
A crawfish molt is the crawfish get extremely aggressive. I mean, absolutely extremely aggressive. You throw a tube out, it hits the bottom, they grab onto it. They're in like 10, 20 yard circles, and there's freaking jillions of them. And if you drift across it and you throw out, you might go 20 yards, and every cast are grabbing a hold of it, and you're like, oh man, there's something. Or you reel it up, and it's like, what the freaking crayfish? I was trout fishing one day, and I was fishing a creek, and they were molting in this creek, and they were attacking my worm every time. I had a little plastic trout worm that I used for trout fishing, and every time I think would hit the bottom, a crayfish would grab a hold of it. And Brian, who works with us, Stallion, he's like, what the hell's going on? I said, it's freaking crayfish molt, man. They're all fired up. They're hornier and shit, you know. They're ready to roll, you know. And all these crayfish are piling up, and they just get extremely aggressive. We launched a tournament many years ago at a boat ramp, and launched a boat, and I heard this freaking noise. Like, what the hell is this noise? You know, every time the trailers would pull out, this weird noise would happen, and it was just crayfish shells just rolling up on the, rolling that hollow sound rolling up on the boat ramp. Remember that, George?
Well,
it was incredible.
I remember launching my boat at a tournament one morning that the crawfish molted the day and night before, and the wind blew towards that bank all night. And it had, the water was low and the concrete walls were high, and the sound it made, I thought I backed into the concrete wall with my fenders. And I'm like, I can't freaking believe I did this.
Yeah.
And I get out and I walk back and look, and the crawfish shells were about this deep on the ramp.
Yeah.
And I heard the sound of my tires grinding through them.
That's
a lot of crawfish.
That is a lot of crawfish. And it's a funny thing, because one of my spots in that tournament was just outside of the boat ramp. So I got just outside the boat ramp, and there was this, George knows where it's at. It's a transition from mud, grass to chunk rock. And I throw out there with my tube, and those freaking things were just, they grab a hold of it. I mean, they were just lock on, and I couldn't even fish it. I could not even fish it. And the bass wouldn't even go in there because they'd get massacred, man. Freaking bass would get or they ate so many freaking crawfish, they couldn't even stand it anymore. They were done, man. You could not catch a fish around there anywhere.
Robbie Moore said he had to clean his pump out 6 times in that tournament when I was shut down.
Yeah, it's really crazy how they really get on crayfish. And when that happens, man, you better be listening to the pumps, because, they can kill a whole live well fish just by shelling up and clogging that water flow, because they certainly would have killed our fish if you weren't listening, George.
Oh,
for sure. All right. Well, we drug on long enough tonight. Listen, thank you so much, guys, for stopping by. Appreciate you all. This was a great show. It was a great conversation. We really loved it. And make sure you check out all the products online at sfttackle.com, and check out our website, and also all of our social media on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, because we always put stuff around all over the place. So you're going to want to check that out. So for George, Mike, and cameraman Nick, we will catch you on the next Tackle Shop Live.
Sunny day, right there you took my breath away. Young and pretty, was it just a dream? The next day you called me up, you told me I'm your little buttercup. You came over and you fell into my arms. Well, I know what I feel. Please tell me your love is real.